Yeah, welcome back to Sports Rewind, Sports Dribble. Joined by Davo and BJ again this evening, fellas. How are we?
Good, mate.
Big week of sport, fellas. We got Aussie Open, we got NFL playoffs, we got cricket, got heaps going on.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
How was the weekend? There was heaps of cricket for you, Davo.
Yeah, mate. Lots of played and watched. So
yep. How did the daughter go up there, mate, at Singo?
She did well. They came second. Even like there wasn't a final, but they finished second on points. Bloody Newcastle, just in front of them. So they won 5 of their 6 games. But just a good experience for her, just to play on turf, play against some older girls, and just sort of dip the toes in the water, so to speak. So. They all did well. They all got along really well, and it was a great bunch of girls to sort of be away with, and good experience.
Yeah, nice.
Unreal.
Not too hot up there, mate.
31, 32, but also dry heat. So
beautiful.
It was much worse down here on the weekend when I was like 26 when you throw in the humidity.
Yeah.
As long as you stay hydrated, mate, it's all good.
Oh, yes, we're staying hydrated as always.
Perfect.
What about you, Randall?
Nothing for me, mate. I was just the couch potato, mate, watching all the sport this week.
Fair enough there, mate. I was on mute there for a minute.
What about you, mate?
Mate, not much for me. Bit of lifting, that's about it.
Lifting?
Yeah, mate. It's only 5 weeks to the Bristow Open, so I better start doing a bit. It's only been 4 years, so
I'm lifting.
Yeah, you'll be all
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Enough of the lifting, fellas. Let's kick off with some tidbits. Now, Davo, what have you got for us this week on the tidbits, mate?
As usual, a couple of baseball ones. We start with the machine. Good old Albert. Statcast worked out his average home run trot was 26 seconds. So if you take that over his full career, Albert spent just over 5 hours of his life just running the bases after hitting a home run. So that's a pretty cool thing. And when you work out over 700 home runs, that's not bad at all.
Pretty good.
Then the next one, the 1920 home run leaders for the American League. Babe Ruth, 54. St. Louis Browns, 50. Philadelphia A's, 44. Chicago White Sox, 37. So just shows how good Ruth was and how crazy a stat it is when he beat other teams in home runs.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Just ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Oh, how nice would it have been to see him play, though?
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine it.
See that swing.
And then finally, another decent hitter from back in the day, Ty Cobb. He once hit 400 over a span of 800 games. No one has hit 400 over a span of 200 games in the last 90 years. So just let that sink in for a while. It's like the good hitters we've had around and how good a hitter Cobb must have been to average 400 over a span of 800 games.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's what, six seasons or something. So, yeah, they're the tidbits for this week.
Good ones, Davo.
Nice.
What do you got for us, Randall?
Mate, I've got a little photo here that I've come across, and it has a picture of 3 Atlanta Braves starting pitchers. Hutto's nodding. I think he knows what this is going to be. Yeah. Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox. And it says these 3 pictured accounted for 7 of 8 Cy Young awards between 1991 and 1998.
Yeah.
What kind of rotation's that?
And how many World Series did they win in that time?
Yeah.
Boom.
And the tidbit, who was the pitcher that won the 8th one?
It'd have to be now you got us. Was it your mate The
Unlucky.
Rocket.
No,
Ooh.
no, it was another guy who went to Boston and did well in Boston. Apparently, it was
David.
Pedro.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
Martinez.
Pedro Martinez
Yeah.
won the 97 Cy Young.
Wow.
I thought it might have been the Rocket, but
Nah, he
nothing.
was in Houston in the 2000s.
There you go.
But yeah, I read that and I thought, oh, who beat him on the other year? So I had to look it up.
That is a good one, actually. And the other one I got, there was a bit of breaking news that came out during the week from a beloved Orioles. Was Ben McDonald tweeted out that he was happy to report that he's agreed to terms with Masson Orioles Broadcasting on a new contract to be back next year again in Birdland's booth, pending a physical. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But he said he's pretty confident he'll be right.
Stretch up, old son.
Test out those vocal cords in your physical.
Yeah, that's it.
He should be good, I reckon.
I think he'll be right. They love him there.
They do. Mate, I've got a couple for you again. Baseball for me as well. Aaron Nola has thrown 10,000 fastballs in his career. 9 of them have been 96 miles per hour or greater. 3 of those 9 were to his brother Austin.
When he was hitting.
How good's that?
Was
Or
that in
adding.
was that in the playoffs this year?
I
Did they face off early in the playoffs?
think they face off. Yeah, the first series,
wild
wasn't
card
it?
maybe. Wild card maybe.
Yeah. The other one was Jose Alvarado and Gregory Soto combined for 81% of the 100+ mile per hour pitches thrown by all left-hand pitchers in the 2022 MLB season.
And now they're
Crazy.
teammates, aren't they?
Yeah, they are,
Yeah,
aren't they?
they
this
are
year?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soto was traded last week, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other one I got, fellas, how about that bloke that put 1.4 million on the Chargers when they were 27 up, and he was going to win $11,200 and lost. Oh, the old
That's gold.
sure thing, eh?
Sure thing.
Nothing's a sure thing.
About to be half time. We're up 27-0.
Yeah.
Jacksonville don't look like they're in the game.
No.
Oops.
Oh, mate, just put a sneaky 1.4 mil on it.
Of course, you just have that lying around, so why not?
Yeah, far out.
Now, fellas, I got a bit of a guess for us tonight. It's our actually, Davo. Do you want to introduce this guest, mate? From the talk in the chat, obviously you're real close with this person, but yeah, if you want to give him a bit of an introduction, we've all played with him or played against him, and absolute great human. But I'm going to admit him to the room here. If you want to give a bit of a rundown on this legend,
One of those cheating left-handers.
that's him.
So 2004 Olympian, silver medalist. So first time we've had a silver medalist on here, and Blue Sox legend, and has the name of the second best sporting house at Lisro Primary School. It's our good mate Ando. How are you, mate?
Hey, good. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Welcome, Ando. Great to have you on, mate.
Thank you,
Mate, bit of a great career in Australian baseball, but not only Australian baseball, played overseas as well. Give us a rundown on how you got started with baseball.
I think the story goes back to sort of when Dad was dragging me along to baseball, and I even remember back to when I was like 2 or 3 years old, asking Dad to play and my auntie and uncle to play catch all the time, put an ice cream helmet on my head and pretend that I'm the catcher or something like that, and then would switch it around and I'd be the pitcher. And I clearly remember one day Dad took me down to baseball at Acott Park, and then he walked me over to the cricket pitch and he said, if you want, you can try cricket, and kind of stood there. And Davo won't really like this story, but sat there for a little while and watched the cricket and thought it was a little bit boring, and ended up just following Dad's footsteps with the baseball.
Beautiful. Now, I know you played down there, Central Coast. Were you always with the Pirates?
Yeah, Pirates in the summer, Lions in the winter. They were sort of my two local clubs. And then, through the Central Coast reps and that sort of thing.
And we won't mention that Newcastle team you played for.
Yeah, I don't think it's a very popular team on this. But that's all right.
They're only not popular because they won everything for the past 100 years. That's the only reason people don't like them.
We have won a couple when I was there as well. So unfortunately, that dominance is all finished now, and there's another team that's taken over that. So
yeah, that's it.
Good guys finally there.
Comes in cycles. So, mate, yeah, you played with the Pirates as a junior, played with some Central Coast baseball, some New South Wales country as a junior. Now, I guess for us is how did you go from a New South Wales country rep to play for Australia and things like that? What was the progression for you playing in these tournaments to get to that next level for the Australian team?
Yeah, so as you said, I came through all the Central Coast and country teams and that sort of thing. And as I was sort of getting through the 16s and 18s, I then got invited to the New South Wales Institute of Sport. So there were a couple of Central Coast guys going down to the old Auburn ballpark and that sort of thing, and going down to New South Wales Institute of Sport. I think there was a bit of stuff, like some testing and stuff happening at Homebush, and like it was pretty full on there. And that's when I started getting into it seriously. Through the 18s and stuff, then you start getting some interest from some scouts. And I think really only had interest from 2 or 3 teams, but ended up then landing with Seattle with Chris Snelling. We kind of signed on the same day, and off we went to the Mariners in 1999, and that's where it all began.
1999, mate. So that is obviously a long time ago, but looking back at sort of Newcastle and Central Coast those days, there were some quality players around in that era. And you mentioned Chris Snelling, and we think of, guys like Adam Morrissey and people like that obviously were at that level and went over there. Now, as a player in the late 90s, it's a lot different now, I guess, to getting signed now than what it was back then. It was very rare to see an Australian make it, I guess, to the States to play. First of all, massive achievement there. But what would you say to kids now on, I guess, how you got there was your hard work? Obviously, kids need to get their hard work in now. What would your best advice for kids sort of 15, 16 that wanting to pursue that sort of career later on in life?
Yeah, it's a hard one because I was so focused on baseball. I actually didn't get many offers. I got more offers to go professionally than I did college. So I hardly even had that, didn't have the option, but I was getting more offers to go in that direction. Whereas now you would definitely also tell them to seriously consider the college option as well, because you can go and get your education and that sort of thing. So you sort of got to sit down and think, what's the best option for you? How realistic is it to get to the big leagues? Should you be getting an education first and that sort of thing? Looking back on it now, like I don't have anything to fall back on. So I was lucky enough to be given a job by one of my good friends. So I've fallen into a job after my baseball career. But yeah, that's the sort of thing you've got to think about, is what's sort of best for you at the time, and then what's going to be best for you after that as well, with, having an education to back you up and that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely a lot of thinking for those young players to do. And but I wouldn't have done it any other way, saying that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, so 99, you went to Seattle. Believe you played A-ball there. Who was it? It was
Aquasox. Everett Aquasox.
That's
it.
Started
off with the short season Everett Aquasox. That was my first half season of professional baseball. Yeah.
And how different was it coming from Australia to playing over there?
Oh, so different. Like I was getting a bit of baseball because of the New South Wales Institute of Sport and that sort of thing. But as soon as I got there, this is the story I tell a lot of people. I got picked up at the airport by sort of my scout's interpreter. He's got to do with the Pacific Rim scouting and that sort of thing. So he picked the Australian guys up. I get picked up and taken to the Mariners complex, and all the teams are out there training because I was a little bit late to spring training just because of other commitments and that sort of thing. And the minor leaguers are all out on the field, the major leaguers are out on the field. And I got taken into the complex, and there's Randy Johnson and Dan Wilson. They're the only two guys in the clubhouse at the moment because they're the starting pitcher and the starting catcher for the spring training game that day. So I get over there, and that's the welcome I sort of get. So, a big 6'10" lefty, and it's like, this is what I'm up against. So, and then, you get out there, spring training, you're out on the field from sort of 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. after your games and that sort of thing. I went to extended spring training as well. So it was a good months and months worth of that. And it was, very different. But you quickly get used to it as well.
So with your spring training, mate, as a pitcher, what would a day-to-day be? Well, back then in the late 90s, what would a day-to-day be for your spring training?
A lot of the time, because we were based in Arizona with the Mariners, and it was very hot over there, even sort of in March or April sort of thing, we would usually get our running in first. We'd get to the field, we'd get fed breakfast at the field. They'd give us a little bit of time just to get ready and stuff. And then it was into conditioning. So you'd be doing your conditioning at 8 in the morning. So you're not doing it in the heat of the day. Then you'd go into all the team drills, plenty of PFPs, plenty of standing around, fielding, batting practice and that sort of thing. And then so you'd be doing that from sort of 9 till maybe midday, 1 o'clock, and then you'd have lunch, and then you'd be out for a spring training game. So you'd either be pitching that day or you might be charting or something like that. And then it'd just be repeat for, it'd be a month or so if you're going to a long season team, or you'd be there till about June if you're going to a short season team.
And what about the facilities compared to what we have here?
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because when I went to the Mariners, they had this brand new state-of-the-art complex. It was awesome. I moved over to the Orioles in 2006, and they sort of had a bit of a rundown complex that we were there for a while. But then obviously not long after that, they sort of move out of there, and then they get their own state-of-the-art complex as well. So they're just amazing. I mean, even A-ball fields and that sort of thing is pretty much better than anything we've got in the ABL and that sort of thing. The ABL fields now are sort of, we're getting away from the old base football fields and stuff that they used to have in the old ABL, and we're getting the purpose-built baseball fields, and they're able to build some more nice stands around it and that sort of thing. But yeah, America's just obviously next level compared to what we've got.
Yeah, us three are sort of dreaming about, what it could be like. But some of the facilities that we've seen, mate, places like Waterboard Oval, things like that.
Hey, mate,
hard to compete.
That new facility they got built there, mate. It's Newcastle state of the art, It's not the old brick shit house anymore. The old timber shack canteen. It's now a proper facility.
Yeah, I haven't been up to check that one out yet, but I'm sure it is getting a nice upgrade.
Yeah, we've only finished the last couple of weeks of the season last year, so brand spanking. You can even have a shower in there now without rats or anything crawling on you.
Oh, nice.
Mate, you moved through A-ball through to AAA pretty quickly, a few seasons. Now you also made, was it the All-Star team in 2020? It was 2000, wasn't it?
All-Star Futures game.
Yeah.
Would have been.
Yeah. So playing that in my second year over there. I guess as an international player, they had to nominate one American player and one international. I was lucky enough to be the international player picked. So got to play in Atlanta in the 2000 Futures game.
Pretty
Any
impressive.
any notables there, mate, that you played against in that game?
Oh, I'm sure there'd be plenty of guys.
Too long ago
One,
to
one guy
remember.
that stands out, and only because I happened to meet him in the elevator the day of the game, and he just asked if I was going to the game and that sort of thing. And I didn't know who he was at the time. And then probably the year after that, he was in the big leagues, was Barry Zito. So yeah, he was a nice one to sort of meet and then go, oh, look, he's in the big leagues a year later.
Yep.
But I'm sure there would be plenty of guys.
Yeah, okay.
I think maybe Josh Hamilton might have played in that game. But yeah, plenty of guys would have gone on to the big leagues from that game.
Another handy lefty, old Zito.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad curveball.
Yeah, goes all right.
Now, I'm looking back through your stats here, mate, and you've been all over the shop with where you played. How does it feel? I guess not knowing where you're going to be going, moving up or down with your career pretty quickly. You might play really, really well in A ball and get moved up, or was there a lot of pressure? Did you feel a lot of pressure was on for you to progress, or I guess what did you feel about getting moved up levels and moved down levels at different parts of your career?
Yeah, when you're young, you kind of don't feel it. Like you said, I was lucky enough to just advance one level at a time all the way up to AAA. That to me just kind of seemed like the natural progression. A lot of people don't do it that way. I kind of was lucky enough to do it one step at a time. Some people get stuck in rookie ball or get stuck at certain levels. But yeah, then I got to AAA and was knocking on the door, and I couldn't quite make that extra step. So it was a little bit frustrating just being stuck there. And then it was all about sort of putting a good year or two together. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to just impress anybody enough for them to give me the chance. But then, yeah, I did bump around a little bit when I went to the Orioles. So they sort of started me in AAA, and then I went down, and then I went up. And yeah, and then in between, I did a part season in the industrial leagues in Japan just to keep playing and that sort of thing. So it was all about, you just got to, wherever you are, you just got to try and put up the numbers and impress. Look, you got to try and impress somebody just to keep that career going. And yeah, you do feel the pressure because you see guys getting released around you, and you know that it could be you any day. But yeah, you just got to keep plugging away and keep putting up the numbers, and yeah, just keep going at it.
Now, you did say you went over with Snell. Were there any other Aussies over there? I guess, first of all, in the Seattle camp when you first went over?
Yeah, so Brendan Kingman was there when I went over. So he was kind of the guy who had been over there for a few years already. So he was kind of the older, experienced guy over there. Brad Drain from Wollongong,
yeah,
and Matt Kent from Victoria. So we had a nice little crew there of about 5 or 6 of us to start with, and then sort of over the years there, a couple of guys came in and out. So it always seems like we did have an Aussie guy or two at the Mariners. Yeah, and then as I sort of moved on, I don't really remember. John Stevens was at the Orioles before I was there, so there's always sort of stories about John, but I don't think I ever had an Aussie with me at the Orioles. So, but yeah, a lot at the Mariners.
And back then, was there lots of Dominican Republic sort of people coming through? I know now, talking to some of the younger kids at the Funky Phil Showcase, some of them have even learnt Spanish and, different languages to fit in with their teams and stuff. Were there heaps coming through when you were coming through?
Yeah, definitely. So that was another bit of a culture shock, like you said. What was the main differences? But yeah, I don't know what the percentages would have been exactly, but there were a lot, especially at the lower levels, because they'll sign tons and tons of the Latinos, and that they'll just expect them to hopefully progress through as well. But there were a lot at the lower levels. So when you get over there and you're learning the ropes, you do start trying to pick up a bit of Spanish and that sort of thing as well, because they do like to mingle with the internationals as well. They know you're from another country, so they do kind of sense that they're going through what you're going through. So yeah, you do kind of get a bit of a bond some of the Latino players as well. Yeah.
For sure. Now, Davo, let's talk about this Olympic Games, mate. This is obviously every kid's dream is to be an Olympian. Davo, I know you've talked about, being the first Olympian on our show here. What have you got for Endo in regards to the Olympics, mate?
Well, just dual Olympian. So what was that like walking into the stadium, or for Sydney to start with, home Olympics in front of the big crowd, and then going over to Athens and winning the silver medal? Like what was the village life like, and your whole Olympic experience?
Yeah, it was amazing. I got so lucky with the two Olympics I got to go to like an Olympics in your home country and then an Olympics in the birthplace of the Olympic Games. Like, you couldn't ask for two better Olympics to go to. I just remember walking through the stadium in Sydney. There's like 110,000 people all cheering. And as you can imagine how loud it got when Australia got announced. I remember just trying to talk to people next to you and you couldn't even hear the person 50 centimeters away from you. That's how loud it was. The stadium was shaking and that sort of thing. And then out on the field, like you go to Homebush to watch the football and that sort of thing. And here we are competing in the Olympic Games in front of, like, baseball was just a buzz. Look, every sport was, but we were getting 15,000 people out to the games, and like they were wanted tickets to just see anything Australia. So Unfortunately we didn't do so well in Sydney. We came 7th. We had a bit of a mix of older guys and then younger guys coming through, so the result didn't go the way we wanted. But that was an awesome experience. And then to go over to Athens, like, we got the tour of the old Olympic Stadium there where the old Olympics were held, and then to win silver, like that, the day we beat Japan in that semi-final and we're guaranteed a medal, like, you just can't describe that game. You're beating, I think they brought the stat up that our team was worth maybe a combined $2 million, and we're playing against a Japanese all-star team worth $200 million or something like that. And we go out and beat them 1-0. Chris Oxspring throws a great game, and then Jeff Williams shuts them down for the win. And can't even describe what that felt like. So just awesome.
And that's anything above that's a bonus then, isn't it? Because you've done that, guaranteed medal, and as you say, how many people in the world can say they have an Olympic medal of any kind, let alone silver?
Yeah, and I think we gave Cuba was just the most dominant team through the Olympics up until that period, and we gave them a real scare in the final as well. So, awesome just to come away with a medal. And it's a pity it didn't go the other way, but like you said, how many people can say they've been to 2 Olympics and won a silver medal? So,
Absolutely. Where does your medal reside now, mate? Is it up on a shelf somewhere nice, or is it mum and dad's, or?
It's in a safe in our house, but for a long time it was living in a safe at mum and dad's house, and they've decided to pass it on. So, I thought it was sort of, it was only in the safe, but I thought it was a nice gesture to let mum and dad hold on to it for a while.
Awesome,
because obviously they've been through it all, so they had the honor of getting to hold on to it, but then they've passed it over to us for now. So they're sitting at home.
Hey, speaking of your mum and dad, obviously a big commitment as a junior, traveling around here, there, and everywhere. They're both very well involved in the sport, throughout not just your career, but I reckon your old boy's still probably playing 5th grade now, is he?
He is.
He's still going, saying he's pitching like 3 or 4 innings a weekend still. So
loves it.
Still rolling it over.
The amount of people that he's, I guess, coached and mentored throughout the years is insane. Like, I remember as a junior, I think we had him in under 13s, 14s, and 16s country, and as a pitching coach, and helping out here, there, and everywhere. It was always a nice welcome face. Old Ando, good to see you still playing fifth grade, mate.
Yeah, he's still doing well. He's got his little niggles here and there, but he's still going. And yeah, like mum and dad did so much for my career. I mean, they went to every game they could. They were sitting up in the stands in the Blue Sox. Even towards the end of my career, they didn't have to keep doing that, and they still kept coming down to even games I wasn't pitching in. You know, you would have a 4-game series starting on a Thursday night, and they'd be there for it. And yeah, like you said, Dad would have coached probably every Central Coast junior and country junior for probably a 20-year period or something like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, he always talks about how he coached Atho and Ryan Roland Smith, and he just can roll off all the guys that he's coached. And yeah,
well, who didn't he coach?
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, he just pitching coach and yeah, all the Coasties teams and Marlins and all that sort of thing. So yeah, but they were just a huge influence, and obviously I wouldn't have done it without them. And yeah, as with any parent, you just can't thank them enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great memories, that's for sure, mate. You talked about the Blue Sox just then. You've won a few Claxton Shields, I believe, and played. Was it 10 years with the Blue Sox? Was it 10 or 11 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I played from when like the new ABL started, and I'm not sure if I sort of got to the 10 years, sort of 8, 9, or 10 years of the new ABL as well. So yeah,
2010 to 2019 by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, things are changing with the Blue Sox at the moment. They've gone through a bit of a period with change of ownership this year. Do you ever think about rolling the arm over again this year, or?
No, I think it'd hurt too much. I'm the sort of person who needs all the preparation I can get. So I reckon if I went to go out throw a baseball right now, I reckon it wouldn't hurt too much today, but I reckon tomorrow I would be in a lot of pain. So yeah, I think the year after I retired, Dobbsy may have given me a phone call and said, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, I was like, "Yeah, Dobbsy, I just don't think I could do it." So 4 years later, I couldn't imagine how much my arm would hurt if I tried to roll it over.
Right.
Oh, you're right for Masters, mate. Come on.
Yeah. I don't
LA
know.
Masters a few weeks away, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up soon. And you're often the celebrity coach for the Pirates in the Benello Masters. Comes out the other year and threw a uniform on. Didn't play, but was there supporting Pirates for a great cause.
Made a bit of an appearance a few years ago, and if it's a few weeks ago, maybe I need to start throwing every day now to get ready for that. I reckon that's how much it'd take to even be able to get the ball to home plate at the moment.
We'll give you a little bit more time. I think September we have the Toronto Masters, mate. So
yeah, when he's a pretty good team, you know, Campbell, Norman, Sago, a few of those sort of characters. Randall, that guy gets a run. Moya usually
Sports Rewind team in Randall and take him down.
Bit of a rivalry, it sounds like.
Never. I don't want to face Jason McAdam. He's too young.
So, mate, you go. Sorry. Go, Davo. You're right, mate.
No, I was just going to say, with the Baseball Classic coming up soon, I remember a good story you had for us when you played over in Mexico and you beat Mexico. And tell us about the bus trip back to the motel that night.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that was not one of my best outings. You know, you go.
Didn't worry about the game.
Yeah. So you go into Mexico City, and it's apparently it's higher altitude than Coors Field. So as you can imagine, the day before the game, I'm watching batting practice, and balls are going 30 rows up into the stands and that sort of thing. So it's like, oh, great, here we go. I started that game. I think I gave up like 6 or 7 runs, only got 4 outs. I'm done in the second inning, pitching against Perez. I think he was with the Mets or something at the time. He gave up 7 as well. So it's like 7 all in about the third inning. We go on to win the game 17-7. So we beat the home team. The guys are sitting down in the bullpen, and all of a sudden they're getting showered with nuts and bolts from the stands. And on the way home, we pretty much had to get a police escort home. We got the sirens before and after the game, police escorting us back to the hotel. And we're told probably shouldn't be leaving the hotel, guys. It's not safe, probably especially after you've just beaten the home team.
Wow.
And didn't you have a tank as well, sort of riding beside you?
We did. We had the tank behind us as well as police escorts. So yeah, pretty interesting.
That's be quite the sight, sitting on the back of the bus, look out the back window, and there's this big tank rolling behind you. It's like, are they with us or against us?
Yeah. Unfortunately, a few days later, they went and put a score on us. So that kept the home fans happier. But yeah, a bit of an experience over there in Mexico.
But there's as you say, there's another thing you've done as well. Was it just one baseball classic, or did you do a couple?
No, so I actually got to play in the first one in Orlando as well. So we got to play against the Dominican Republic. I didn't pitch in that game, but yeah, so on the same field as guys like David Ortiz and guys like that. So that was amazing seeing them in person. I pitched against Italy. Unfortunately, we lost that game as well. But what an experience as well to play in 2 WBCs and another one that's about to come up as well. I'll be watching that closely just to sort of sit back and go, wow, I was lucky enough to play in 2 of those as well.
What do you think? How do you think we'll go?
Oh,
we're in Pool B. We've got Japan, Korea, China, and someone else, but I don't remember who the other person is.
Yeah, I think the other team is a winnable game as well. So realistically, if they can win the games they're expected to win, like China, I think it might be Czech Republic or somebody like that.
Actually, it is. You're right. It is Czech Republic.
They can win those 2 games, and they've just got to beat one of those other 2 Asian countries. I'm sure they'll just go out and give it everything against one of those 2 teams. And if they win that game, then they're through. So the thing is, you can't. The Australian teams, you can't rule them out. We with like 2004, we weren't expected to win, and we go out and roll the Japanese team. So that can happen, and I think that's why teams like Japan invite Australia over all the time for exhibition games and stuff now. And I think it is because the world realizes just how competitive Australian teams can be. So yeah, like they're every chance of advancing to the second round for sure.
That's good. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say, mate, your career highlight would be in your eyes?
As much as I love my time in America and got so close to getting out to the big leagues, it's any time I got to put on an Australian jersey, like the Olympics, the WBC. I even got to play in that the series where the Diamondbacks and Dodgers came over. So that was sort of like the last time I played for Australia, but it was so amazing to play at the SCG with friends and family there and pitch against a big league team. And yeah, so but career highlight would be the silver medal, but anytime I got to play for Australia for sure.
For sure. No, mate, great career. Before you do go, I want to talk quickly about any injuries you had. Talked about you needed a long prep. If you were to say make a comeback now, you might need that long prep. Did you have any injuries while you're in the States or when you're in Asia?
No, I got so lucky with injuries. There was one year where I went back where I was just really, really sore. I could hardly throw a ball 10 or 15 feet. So it was when I was with the Mariners. So they flew me over before spring training started, got me doing some rehab and stuff. And it just ended up being really serious tendonitis. And that was about the worst I ever had. So I was lucky I avoided surgeries and all that sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, I think you got to put that down to how serious I did take all my preparation and that sort of thing as well. Injuries happen, but and I wasn't the hardest thrower, obviously. So I wasn't putting as much stress on my body and arm as some of these guys throwing 100 miles an hour. But I threw a lot of innings and avoided injury. So I was very lucky in that regard.
Yeah. Now, you speak of your prep and your long prep. Obviously, the kids these days have got a lot more info and sort of sports science behind the way they prepare. What were some of the influences on your preparation, I guess, back before you went to the States? I know you had different coaches in juniors and things like that, but what were some of the things that were standouts for your prep back before you went to the States?
Yeah, I think it was just about learning, like, obviously for pitchers, it's all about shoulder care and that sort of thing. So coming through the institute and country teams and that sort of thing, it was learning all the different like shoulder programs and that sort of thing. And then the other thing that's big for me is just your general fitness, keeping your legs and your core in shape. So there is a lot of preparation that it takes to be a pitcher. Obviously, any position has their specific training, but yeah, you just got to be so particular about everything you do. You can't really put one thing aside and say, all right, I'm just going to concentrate on getting my shoulders strong and forget about your general fitness and stuff. So yeah, I think like coming through the institute, you had guys like Andre Desjardins who was big on like your preparation, but then like Barry Holland was more your technical side of things. So it was everything really, from your fitness to making sure that you're doing your throwing program right and everything like that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you boys got anything else for Endo?
Tell me, 2011, did you go and play in Europe? Is that right? In the Dutch Major League?
Yeah, I did. So I actually played in the 2005 World Cup in Holland, and I was sitting there in the middle of a rain delay thinking, like, if it ever came to it, I wouldn't mind playing in Europe. I don't know why I had that thought, but so my career
Good
was
good beer.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was just a strange thought. I think it was because like that was the year after I was done with the Mariners. I'd just been to Japan. I hadn't quite signed with the Orioles yet, so maybe it was a kind of sitting there moment, thinking, is this going to be it? Like maybe I was thinking now the time to go to Europe, but then I ended up signing with the Orioles. Got those few years with the Orioles and that sort of thing. But then after the Orioles, and I didn't sort of get picked up after that, I put an email out to a few European teams, and Neptunus came back to me. And at the time, Neptunus was one of the biggest clubs in Europe. And one of the funny thing is, it was the Neptunus change room that I was sitting in having that thought. And they were the team that came back to me and said, we would like you. So, played a year over there. It was good. It was a little bit more like the state league, where you're sort of playing 2 or 3 games a week. I got to coach some of their junior teams as well. So that's what I was doing like early on in the week. And then I got a few trips around Europe as well. My wife came over and we got a trip to London and Paris and Rome. So yeah, it was a really awesome way it was good baseball and then a nice way to kind of wind down the overseas career as well.
Yeah, that's good. How were their facilities, like comparable obviously to Australia, or much better?
A little bit like ABL facilities. I think because they had hosted that 2005 World Cup, they had a few little stadiums built there, so that they did have some nice facilities. The stadium that I played in, Rotterdam, was nice. It wasn't big. It was a little bit like Blue Sox Stadium, maybe a little bit bigger. But they had some nice fields over there. They had some fields that were just like state league fields as well. But so not nice enough facilities.
Was Regensburg built how it is at the moment back then in 2011, or was it the older stadium? So they've just redone it. They've just redone that, haven't they, for World Classic?
Yeah. So the league was a little bit different then. I think they have a European Cup now where all the teams travel, so they would probably get to see that Regensburg Stadium. But we didn't go to that stadium. We played our domestic Dutch league, and then we did actually get to go to Parma in Italy. So that was the one sort of European stadium outside of the Netherlands that we got to see. But so we didn't get to see the Regensburg Stadium.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah.
don't know whether they combined, whether the German league and the Dutch league. Yeah, wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, they have a European Cup with like European sort of the top 2 or 3 teams from each league. But yeah, we didn't play against Regensburg, no.
How many teams in the Dutch competition when you were playing?
I think it was 8, and then they go into a top 4 kind of playoff format, and they actually have promotion and relegation too. So sort of the bottom 2 teams, I think it is, and or maybe one or 2 teams come up and down each year. So it definitely keeps you on your toes. Like the team I was at was a strong team at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty competitive league, especially with the top 4 or 5 teams.
It was always the top ranked sort of European based team, them, Czech Republic, and then obviously like the German baseball league. It's still, you don't hear many kids going there anymore. Sort of back in the early 2000s, we got a lot of the Aussies that, weren't going to go anywhere over in the States, got to go to the German sort of Bundesliga and stuff. Do you know if there's many sort of Aussies going over there at the moment, or is it more they're just all going to the States?
Yeah, I'm probably hearing of a lot more Americans going over there, like guys that are either minor leaguers or college guys are heading in that direction, and a lot of them coming to Australia and stuff too. Like there's probably a lot more Americans traveling to Europe, which may be costing the Australians those spots. Yeah. Because yeah, you're right. You did used to hear of, like Dusan Ruzic, and I was over there with Tom Bryce and that sort of thing. So there were a lot of Australians going over to Europe, but maybe the fact that there's more college opportunities as well, so that the young Australians are going to college as well instead of going to Europe.
Yeah.
But like that's another avenue you can take. Like if you want to play top level baseball, like Europe is a good option too.
I guess also with the amount of minor league teams that have sort of been taken out of the system as well. I know with COVID, there's sort of not as much funding, so they've lost a lot of minor league teams. So maybe, yeah, the Americans are sort of jumping ship and going over there as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, landscape has changed a bit in the last sort of 5 years, hasn't it?
Sure has. So what's doing now, Endo? Are you playing any sports?
A bit of golf at the moment, as a lot of baseballers do after they retire. Yeah, just playing in I've joined up at Coinda Waters on the Central Coast, so playing in their weekly competitions and trying my best to get good at that. But it's a hard sport, as we know. And yeah,
I hit 118 there 18 months ago.
I'm sure I've probably hit that high there. It's a very course, a lot of water.
They just don't get into bunkers and early on. I can't get out of the bunker. That face on the bunker, there's one there. It must be 2.5 meters high, I reckon.
They've strategically placed all the bunkers and water there, that's for sure.
Thanks for coming on, Endo. Appreciate your time, mate.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. And as I told you off air, I have listened to a few of your episodes, and you're doing a great job. So thank you,
mate. You're one of our 3 listeners. Thanks very much, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Catch up soon, Endo.
Yeah, thanks, Davo.
That was awesome to have Endo on. Plenty of years experience in baseball. Absolute legend of a bloke. Davo, you get to spend a bit of time with him through your kids' sport. We've all played against or played with Endo, and mate, what a great career he had.
It was. I think I've known him just over 30 years now, because being Pirates and being associated with his old man, got to see him sort of grow up and sort of go through all that. And now, again, yeah, we're still in touch, still close, because our daughters go to the same primary school and see him all the time. So just top bloke and great career.
Mate, he said he didn't have much of a fastball.
Bet me every time.
Probably only moved this far when he threw it, and then the curveball went the other way. That curveball was absolutely unreal.
And then if
Filth.
he did give up a hit, he'd pick you off at first.
Yeah, those bloody lefty cheats. Eh?
He didn't. He didn't give up a hit to me ever.
Did you face him?
Yes. Unfortunately,
Uh,
I'm pretty
that's-
sure I look stupid as a young fella.
And the scary part is he's also a decent hitter. Like you give him a bat and he will hit like well over 400 in local comp, often nearly 500. So it's like he's all round. Just didn't get the chance to hit while over there.
yeah. Don't give him a chance. Righto, let's go with some cricket, Davo. What do you got for us in the cricket?
Well, we've got the Sixers doing well against the Strikers here tonight. Good old Steve Smith racked up a ton earlier, flicking ball everywhere. So first Sixers century maker, if you can believe that, which is quite unbelievable considering how long the Sixers been going. But they got over 203 and the Strikers are 5 for 107. So it looks like Sixers could be consolidating their top 2 spot. They had a good win against Perth the other night at the SCG. I went down to that and watched it. But yeah, Perth and Sydney are the standouts. Strikers are still up there. Brisbane Heat beat Melbourne last night on the last ball boundary. So it's done a good now. The Test players are back. It's starting to tighten up a bit. So it's looking good to come into the final series. But I still think it's going to be between Perth and Sydney for a final. Yeah. So that's good. And the Aussie women had an easy win over Pakistan yesterday. Rain-affected match-up in Brisbane. But young 19-year-old Litchfield on debut led the way. I think she was 77, I think. So the Aussies did it easy there, and they've got game 2 of their series tomorrow. So plenty of cricket happening.
Beautiful. Randall.
Yeah.
NFL, mate.
NFL, mate.
Some quality games today.
I changed my hat. I actually might burn it later on tonight, but anyway, is what it is. There was some quality games over the weekend. I think we all missed on 2. Looking at what our picks were. Actually, no, we missed on 1. We only missed on the 1. We had the 49ers 41 over the Seahawks 23 in the first game.
Mate.
How about this game for a close game? Like half time, Seattle were leading 17-16.
Yeah.
Like, and you thought, oh, Seattle's going to run away here. They look dominant. Fourth quarter, San Francisco 18 points. Thanks for coming. They won the fourth quarter. They win the game. That's probably the big thing they're saying. I did hear a lot of that. You win the fourth quarter, you win. Yeah. So, and they did. That was big points.
What about, though, you've got Brock Purdy. You know, how many third-string quarterbacks have we got like that are running around in the playoffs, right? Brock Purdy is 6-0 as a third-string quarterback, and he's a starter now. Yeah. Absolutely unreal to watch. He's just showing so much poise and just, I've loved watching everything he's done so far.
Just killing it, isn't he?
He's going to go from a third string to someone's going to want him as their starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All thanks to a couple of injuries.
Yep.
But he's deserved it. The way he's played, he deserves every bit of it too. He's playing really well.
Yeah.
Moving on, Jacksonville 31 defeated the Chargers 30. Like, I think if both of you guys were watching this as well. I'm pretty sure we were texting a fair bit about it. 27-0.
Yeah.
Like it was about 30 seconds to go in the first half before the Jaguars actually scored a point.
At that stage, I was thinking, if I had 1.4 mil, I'd probably put it on him.
Oh, like that's crazy. Lawrence, he threw 4 intercepts.
Yeah.
In the first half. I think their first 2 drives both ended with him throwing an intercept.
Yeah.
Like, and then he throws another 2 during that half. Like it
And
did
that's
not
right.
look. It did not look good for him at all.
I sent that text to you guys saying, "Geez, yeah, they're going to find it tough to come back from this."
He ended up throwing 288 yards, though. It was just
Yeah,
insane. And Justin Herbert threw 273 yards. Like,
they were just polar opposites. First half, second half. Like it was ridiculous. The way that Jags came out in that second half, they were a completely different team. It was good to watch. I'm happy they got through. Like it's great to see. It's not just same old everywhere.
yeah,
And some of these guys are being competitive, and they got a shot. Like
they do.
well, we'll see actually with how
Well,
they go this week. But
hey, they progressed. Did
yeah,
better than
well,
the
that's it.
Ravens.
Righto, Washington.
We'll get on to the Ravens soon.
We'll get to them in a minute. The only game I didn't watch this weekend, Bills 34 over the Dolphins 31. That was an early game. I think it was a 5:30 game or something.
I only watched the condensed game. Mate, I can't believe how close the game was, considering, like, again, the Miami Dolphins have got like a third string quarterback again. And yeah, the Bills almost let it go. Josh Allen did throw 3 touchdowns, 352 yards, but I think he got intercepted twice as well.
Okay.
Like it's crazy. Be interesting if Tua was playing, how close it would have been. Or, there's plenty of what ifs in sport, isn't there? But
oh yeah,
it was a bit close for comfort, I think, for the Bills, 34-31.
Yeah, Dolphins have played well all year. Like they shouldn't be understated either, I guess. But
yeah,
the Bill, you would have thought Bills should have been comfortable.
Yeah.
Giants. This was the upset, I think. The Giants 31 over the Vikings 24.
Yeah.
Didn't
see that.
No.
This is.
I think we all went the Vikings, didn't we?
We were all backing in the Vikings.
Yeah.
And Minnesota had their chances all through that game, and especially late in the game too. They had chances to take that game away, and they couldn't come up with it. The Giants just kept coming at them all the time, defense and offense. Like, yeah, they were good. Giants were good.
Daniel Jones, I don't know if you've seen that play where he did behind the back handoff. Did you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
He's fake thrown and handed off with the other. That was brilliant. But mate, he showed, I guess, his class. He was like a 57th pick or something like that. And yeah, he's shown obviously what he's worth in the playoffs so far already. 301 yards, 24 from 35. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yep.
But
I agree.
What about the Vikings, mate? Kirk Cousins. Now, this guy's been stats for the last couple of years. He's been, those top 6 or 8 quarterbacks. He just can't get it done. Like,
no.
Did you see the last play? Like,
yep.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. So I mean, they had their chances to win it.
4 and 8, and he throws it 4 yards. Are you not going to try to launch it to at least get the first down? Or it was pretty much a bonehead play. But
yep,
mate, good luck to the Giants. They were unreal.
Yeah, I agree. They deserve their win. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then we come to my heartbreak for the week. Bengals 24 defeated Ravens 17. Davo, I think you watched this game. I think Hutto, you might have been, bringing the world some aluminium. We all said it. Bengals with no Lamar Jackson. I thought Ravens had no chance, like 0 chance. might have, rose-colored glasses on, but I thought they were probably the better team, the Ravens.
Yeah, they just fell down in a few places. I think that experience of Lamar just would have made the difference. And it was interesting reading Robert or Griffin, the third, came out and said, look, I can understand everyone wanting Lamar to be out there, just strap up, away you go. He goes, take it from me. He's doing the right thing by not playing this season to prolong his career. So
don't destroy your knees and don't ruin your body for that.
Just for this year.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. And that experience ahead of Lamar is all they missed, I think.
Yep.
It was that fumble that when Huntley tried to do that quarterback snake. I think we all saw it.
Yeah.
Tied game, whatever they were, second in inches or second and 2 yards or something dumb, And everyone's in there pushing him from behind, and he tried to jump over and push the ball out.
Yeah.
They said it on the commentary straight away. They said, if everyone's back behind you pushing, you got to go low. What's the point of jumping?
Yeah.
He
it
jumped,
just opens the ball up to be taken away, which it was.
And it was. It just
and then there was no one behind. Like it was
just
what,
fell
a
in his
defensive
lap.
end? Who was it? It wasn't a wide receiver or someone running fast down the field.
No.
It was a tight end or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was just no one there to run him down because they were all, as you say, pushing.
Yeah, that's it. They were all in the old rolling maul.
Yep.
Rugby union style rolling maul, and everyone just put their hands up and swatted the ball, and it just popped out. And then
that's the difference.
And then you run a 98-yard fucking touchdown, and that's a swing. In the end, it's a 21-point swing. A 14-point swing. Ravens should have been up by 7, and defensively they were shutting down Burrow, and they were shutting down their attack. So,
they give
heartbreaking.
Lamar a bit of a stick on social media, on Twitter, this afternoon about his contract and stuff like that. What did you hear anything said about him not returning to Baltimore? There was something I heard on there about possibly some sort of contract rift.
People are talking money. They're just saying, they're all saying, oh, he won't stay. He wants more money. He wants more money. He wants more money. But everyone else close to him is saying he's not. Everyone keeps saying he's about the money, and he's not about the money. He wants to stay here and win.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's same as the Aaron Judge saga sort of thing, like a high-profile player. He can lead that team to a ring.
Yeah.
But the team's there. It's shown.
100% the team's there.
The team can do it.
100%. But it's all that speculation, like, oh, he could get more money going somewhere else, or they should give him more money, or this or that. But
I think maybe they should work on Ando's strategy and do a bit more fitness, mate, and be good for the fourth quarter. That's what's let them down.
Mate, I'm hearing you.
They've been absolutely putrid in the fourth quarter.
Oh, mate, they just can't close the game out. Missing your star quarterback for 7 weeks too probably doesn't help. But
no,
and that's 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
where they've gone from top of the pile to not making it.
Yeah,
and the team that's benefited from that is the Bengals.
Yeah,
and last year, well, anyway, here's what it is. Moving right along. Move on to the last game of the weekend. Now we've dragged that out. Cowboys 31 over the Bucks 14. I was the only one that said Bucks, saying Dak Prescott is fucking rubbish, and that Brady will run all over him, being the old experienced head.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
how'd that work out for you?
You are an idiot.
Wait. Imagine the score if Brett Maher could kick.
Oh, mate. How's that? Anyone else can kick? What's
Oh, what
Ruben
about-
doing, mate? What's Ruben doing, mate? Like, does he want to go over and kick NFL? Like,
the tweet by Jerry Jones, the owner.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the stadium who can kick come down?
I've got a jersey for you right
Yeah. That's from the
That-
owner.
now.
so he missed his first four. His first four extra point conversion kicks.
He got the last one, didn't he?
Yeah, he got the fifth one when the game was done and dusted and meant
Only as
nothing.
good as your last one, mate.
Well, you are, but absolutely, Brady was smashed. I don't know what his offensive line were doing, but
Mate.
that defensive line from the Cowboys, every single play had pressure on him. He had no time to do anything. He was getting swamped every play.
Well, if you have a look at Brady's completions, 35 from 66. I've never seen that from Brady ever. He still ended up with 351 yards, but there's
The problem was he was throwing the ball away. He was just getting swamped by the defense,
yeah,
and he was just having to throw the ball away. So when he was getting a little bit of time, he got in a roll and he'd go, completion, and move down the field. And then all of a sudden he just gets swamped again and, but now we're punting. Or now we're going to go for it on the fourth. And
he didn't
there
even
was
help Randall with like rushing yards. You got two blokes for 52 yards between them for the game out of 12 carries.
Yeah.
Yep. It was
doesn't
poor, mate. It was poor. And there was just some sort, I don't know what the miscommunication was, but he was picking the ball up, he's throwing, and a runner's turning right and he's throwing to the left.
Yeah.
Like there was something was just not right. And then for Dak Prescott, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
He just seemed to have all the time in the world. Absolutely all the time in the world. I don't know if you saw the 2-point conversion that he got.
I did.
I think it was a 2-point conversion where it had me. He did the little fake handoff, and then just spun to his right and started running. And I know I wasn't watching him, and all of a sudden he's just got the ball and he's just trotting in, and it was like, oh, no, that was pretty good actually.
Totally different team though, the Cowboys. You got, three different players getting rushing yards. But the amount of receiving yards compared to what the Buccaneers had was just next level. Now, Dak Prescott only had he had 25 from 33, whereas what did I say? Brady had 66, 35 from 66.
Yeah.
So
he had to go in the
Prescott
air.
had half the attempts and, still come away winners.
It's that, like you said, it's that rushing yards too, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they were just running through them. They were just running through them.
Yeah.
Just the two defensive lines were just, one was super effective, the other was ineffective.
Yeah.
So well done to the Cowboys. They deserve that win.
Yeah.
Moves us on to the divisional playoffs this week. So it's going to be some good fun. Jags versus KC. Unfortunately, KC, they're gone.
Yeah.
I don't think Mahomes will run all over them.
Yeah, I think so, but
I don't think if they start like they did this week, they won't be behind 27-0. They'll be behind 40-0.
Yeah.
Giants Eagles.
Mate, I think the Eagles will have them.
Yeah.
If the Giants play like they did today, again, it's going to be a good contest.
Yep, agree. I think close, but Eagles. Probably the game of the round. I think Bengals Bills. I wish this could be a Super Bowl game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bengals Bills.
I'm taking the Bengals. I'm going all out.
Going Bengals. You think?
Yeah. I'm rating them.
I'm tossing a coin. Bengals as well. Yeah. I think Bengals. Davo?
I'll upset the apple cart. I'll go the Bills. Yeah, no, I think they've been a bit more consistent. I know they haven't set the world on fire, but I think Bengals they were pretty good last week, but I think Bills might just pip them, like, yeah,
Yep.
36-30 or something like that.
Yeah.
No, the gauge would have been that game 2 weeks ago, but obviously that game didn't get played, so
Yeah.
we don't get to see that. And then Cowboys versus the 49ers. I'm on the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm on the 49er train.
Yep. Should be a pretty good game, though. If
I-
Dallas can play the way they did, it'll be a different game for Prescott because the 49ers defense is a lot better than the Bucks. So let's just, see how they go with that one.
Yeah, and I also think the offensive line for the 49ers is better than the Bucks too. So
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be as much pressure as what Brady got, but never know. You know, who knows what'll happen in these games?
Yeah, that's it. Righto, we're down to our final 8. I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to say the 49ers are going to be Super Bowl winners. Who you's got?
That's all right. Back to his sports bet earlier in the year. That's $17. So I'm hoping they come home.
Mate, I hope they do for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I could be on the Hudson train here.
Which
I think
one?
The Chiefs.
Kansas City, I think.
Yeah,
I
and I hope they do, but yeah, mate, it's been an awesome season. It's been so up and down. So many different quarterbacks lost, and down to so many third string quarterbacks. It's been unreal.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see the 49ers do it.
Yeah.
But will that experience hurt them?
Yeah. I don't know, mate.
Who knows? KC are a pretty good side, as you know.
Yep.
They've been thereabouts for a number of years now.
Right.
I feel like
You feel like what?
The
I feel
Chiefs.
like they got a ring coming. That's all.
Got a ring. Got to put a ring on it.
Ring sting.
Righto. NFL, mate. It's been awesome to watch this year.
Loved
Let's quickly recap the ABL. Now, Giants and Heat pretty much guaranteed their spots, I believe, and the Bandits.
It's the last week, regular season week. So
comes down to I guess Auckland and Canberra. You touched on it earlier, Randall. Whoever wins the most games out of those two teams this weekend goes through to the playoffs. Now let's hope. So the Cavs have got the Blue Sox in Sydney. You're going down to the game, mate.
Yeah, I am going down. They got the 4-game series as usual. I'm not going down for the Friday night game, but doubleheader Saturday and then 1 game Sunday. So I'm going down with the family and another family. So
yeah,
I'll see how much I actually remember of it. As you could imagine, staying down in Sydney for the night. I don't know who's driving, but it won't be me.
Good on you, Heidi.
Yeah.
Auckland have got Brisbane, so it's going to be a tough ask for them to get some points. I really think that the Cavs will come through here.
It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You know, one team's playing first place that have dominated a comp all year. The other team's playing last place,
but in saying
struggled.
In saying that, though, the last couple of weeks, the amount of runs that the Blue Sox have put on has been pretty good to watch.
They have been playing pretty good, actually.
They've been swinging a bat a lot better.
Yeah, it's good to see they've come good. Hopefully, you get to see some close games down there this weekend. Good luck to all our ABL teams this weekend.
Go see Cambo, mate. Go see Cambo and Bossy and hope they do something.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
If they don't, they'll hear about it.
Mate, I'm sure they'll hear about it anyway.
Oh, they do.
What
about the other division?
They're Melbourne and Perth are way ahead. Uh,
So they've clenched.
let me have a look.
Was it Adelaide and Perth?
So yeah, sorry, Adelaide and Perth. Melbourne's in third.
Yep.
My bad. Yeah, Adelaide are 4 games in front of Melbourne. So, and who have Melbourne got? Melbourne have got Geelong, Korea, and well, they must have a split series, do they? Oh no, sorry, my bad. Geelong, Korea, and Adelaide, and Melbourne play Perth. There you go.
So you think
So-
Adelaide should win at least one of those games
You would
to
imagine so. I think
yeah.
even if they lose all 4, or there might have been a mathematical chance, Davo, for and against. I'm not sure if they lost all 4 and
Yeah.
and Melbourne won all 4.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
So it should be Adelaide and Perth that go through.
Yeah,
Is what we're
Yeah.
saying? You reckon?
Yeah. And then Brisbane, and I'm picking the Cavs.
I'm picking the Cavs too. I think they'll be too strong for Blue Sox. I think, and it's just too hard for Auckland to beat Brisbane. They did at the start of the year, that first weekend. I
Yeah.
think they won 3 out of 4 maybe, or
That was the only
something like that.
weekend they won 3 out of 4, I think.
And but that was when all the Australian players were in Japan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
since then, Brisbane have welcomed a lot of players back.
Speaking of the Australian players, did you see the Robbie Perkins home run to
Sure
tie it
did.
up, and then he
Oh.
hit a sack fly to win the game, didn't he?
Unreal.
Next at bat. Absolutely awesome.
What a legend.
Yeah, for sure. Righto, fellas. Tour Down Under is happening for the cyclists down there in Adelaide. We've got the Australian Open tennis going on. I'm not going to touch on it. We've been dribbling on for so long. There's probably
Yeah.
nobody listening at this stage anyway. But
I will say congratulations to those Australians that were wild card entries that have gotten through to the second round. I think there was three or 4 men, and definitely one lady who beat a seeded player as well.
Yep.
Today it was. So
no, Diminor got through just before in 3 straight sets, pretty easy. Andy Murray this afternoon struggled, 5-setter. That was a quality game.
he ended up getting through. But who does he play now? Or does he? I did look at this. Was it?
Diminor,
no.
who does Diminor play? Or
No, Murray. He'll play the winner of the Kokonakis and the Itai Fognini, I think it is.
You can't say Kokonakis on air.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, their game was suspended earlier. So
Rain
yes, I believe so.
must have been playing in the
It,
outer court.
it was all of them.
Yeah.
So that has recommenced. He won the first at 6-1, and he's up 2-0, 2-0, to love, to, I don't know, you're the tennis guru, mate. Love means nothing. But we won't say that.
What about no, I won't say my net joke either. Right, fellas, anything else for the week coming up in sport?
For me, it's just going to be the NFL this weekend. I'm digging it at the moment, as you know. It's on at good times.
Yep.
When I'm really busy at work and I can have the iPad sitting next to me. And obviously the ABL, going down for the ABL. So, and plus Big Bash, Aussie women, cricket.
Yep.
And then just if there's any Aussies playing in the tennis, I sort of try and get a bit of that in.
For
What about
those
yourself?
Newcastle and Central Coast baseballers, if you aren't doing anything, come up to Newey on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the under 14 summer sizzler. It's happening up there at Boomerang Park. It'd be good to watch some kids go around and play a bit of baseball. Other than that, I've got nothing. Same with you guys, NFL, cricket, tennis. And kids will probably have a bit of backflip practice again. But that's about it for me.
See you,
Davo,
Davo.
Cricket, more cricket.
beautiful.
So watching cricket, playing. Girls aren't back yet. Mind you, both daughters played with the wife in the women's second grade on Saturday, which she loved. Young Ashley, our 9-year-old, was out there fielding, which she's allowed to do, and just dominated out there, made the difference in the team, which got them a win. So
You beauty.
I got to see some of it since our game finished early. So yeah, love watching it, and bring on more cricket. Can't get enough.
Any classic catches, mate, or what?
No classic catches. Nearly a run out, but
Yeah.
she's only 9 and her arm's stronger than half the women in the team. Like, that's no offense to the women playing. They're out there doing their best, but yeah.
No, mate. Her arm's
Loving
probably
it.
stronger than mine too.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't want to have a throw over.
Maybe we're talking about classic catches. Do they get the classic catches going in the pool?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Always. And it's sort of like, if it's not sort of volleyball, the blow-up volleyball, it's classic catches jumping from outside the pool into the pool. Hello.
Hello,
His
mate.
old mates. His
Oh,
old mate
mate.
saying hello. Yeah.
G'day, champion.
Yeah, we've always got to do classic catches in the pool. It just goes without saying. Oh, Jesus.
Hey, mate, who's your pick for the NFL? Oh, yeah, he's bored too. He can't
Yeah,
even
she's
listen
had
to the
enough.
whole
It's
show.
like, you dribbled on long enough. How about you give me tea?
Yeah, fair enough.
Overrated.
Fair enough. Right, let's boot it then so you can go give the dog dinner.
She'll
All right.
survive.
Thanks, fellas.
Been a pleasure as always.
Yeah,
it
love
was
it, guys.
good to have Ando on and then talk some more dribble after.
I love to hear about his career. It's unreal.
Thanks, fellas.